England head to Rome to take on Ukraine in the Euros quarter-finals. And last woman standing, the Wimbledon wildcard, keeping Britain's tennis hopes alive and inspiring a younger generation.
I aspire to be like her, so get into a big tournament and do well.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good afternoon. Labour have just about managed to hold on to their Batley and Spen seat, winning the by-election, but by the narrowest of margins. Kim Leadbeater, sister of murdered MP Jo Cox, beat her Tory rival by just 323 votes. Today, she said her sister would be proud of her. It was a hard-fought campaign with claims of dirty tricks. Our political reporter Shihab Khan now on the slimmest of victories for Labour.
Celebrations all round this morning as Labour just about held on to their seat in Batley and Spen. Victory by the tiniest of margins, 323 votes, but relief nonetheless for the party, who are concerned they might lose another by-election.
People are beginning to see that there is a gulf of difference between integrity, honesty and bringing people together and the politics of division, of hatred, dividing everybody, and mistruths and half-truths. And Kim epitomises that. That's why I say today is a really important start for us. Labour is back.
I do hereby declare that Kim Michelle Leadbeater is duly elected.
In the early hours of the morning, Kim Leadbeater was declared the winner.
I'm absolutely delighted that the people of Batley and Spen have rejected division and they've voted for hope.
She will now represent the constituency which was previously held by her sister Jo Cox, who was murdered there by a right-wing extremist in 2016.
It's very emotional for me, for obvious reasons. But, you know, Jo would be extremely proud of me, and I'm really clear if I can be half the MP that she was, then that'll be pretty good going.
It was a divisive and bitter campaign, and at times the Labour candidate needed police protection. George Galloway, the former MP, stood in an attempt to win over disillusioned Labour voters and managed to secure 8,000 votes. But it was the Tories who came a very close second. But did recent events like the resignation of the former Health Secretary affect their chances?
This was always going to be a difficult election for us. We are 11 years into government, so these by-elections are always going to be challenging. We shouldn't even be talking about winning them, let alone gaining off the opposition parties.
You mentioned a host of issues on the doorstep. Was Matt Hancock one of those issues that came up from time to time?
Look, there were a whole host of issues which came up, and Matt did come up at the weekend, but Matt did the right thing by resigning. And the Prime Minister appointed a new Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, who's getting on with the job.
This result will ease the pressure that's been mounting on Keir Starmer, and he will hope this is a turning point for his leadership. Shihab Khan, ITV News, Westminster.
To our political correspondent Libby Wiener, who has been following this election. Libby, relief for Labour then, but will it be enough to end questions about Sir Keir Starmer's leadership?
Well, I think defeat for Labour in Batley and Spen would almost certainly have led to a leadership challenge against Keir Starmer, but in fact he now lives to fight another day. And I have to say, when he came here this morning, he did seem rejuvenated. We heard him talking there saying Labour is coming home. I think that was a phrase designed to counter the red wall narrative of the Conservatives that they can pick off any seat they like in the north of England. Now, what was special here was the candidate that Labour ran, Kim Leadbeater, who was essentially a very popular figure locally. She's the sister of Jo Cox, who was murdered here 5 years ago. There was a huge amount of support for her personally, and I think many people are saying that if she hadn't been the candidate, then it's possible that Labour wouldn't have won. But against that is the fact that there was another candidate who split the Labour vote, George Galloway. He took 8,000 votes, so I think if he hadn't stood, it would have been a very comfortable victory for Labour, and I think it has left the Conservatives with plenty to think about, not least whether the scandal over Matt Hancock's behaviour during lockdown has cut through.
All right, Libby, thank you. Two Army veterans who were facing murder charges from the Northern Ireland Troubles, including on Bloody Sunday in 1972, will now not face trial. The cases involve individuals known as Soldier F and Soldier B. Soldier F was to be prosecuted over the deaths of James Ray and William McKinney on Bloody Sunday. I'm joined now by our correspondent Neil Connery. Neil, remind us of the background to these charges.
Very significant developments. These two Army veterans, as you say, facing murder charges from the Troubles, will not now face trial. So Soldier F was to be prosecuted over two of those deaths on Bloody Sunday. Now, 13 people were shot dead and 15 were wounded when the Parachute Regiment opened fire on civil rights demonstrators in Londonderry in January 1972. One of the most important and significant events during the Troubles. Families were informed of this decision in meetings in Derry this morning. It follows reviews after a recent court case ruling caused the collapse of another trial involving two military veterans. Now, the other case dropped this morning concerns Soldier B. That relates to the death of Daniel Hegarty, who was 15. He was shot twice in the head in Derry in July 1972. Now, in terms of family reactions in the last hour, Mickey McKinney, the brother of William McKinney, has vowed to fight on, expressing his disappointment at this Bloody Sunday decision. He said the issue is far from concluded. We will fight on. And the family solicitor says that they have told the Public Prosecution Service of their intention to seek an immediate judicial review into this decision this morning.
OK, Neil, thank you. Moving on now, the England squad will arrive in Rome later, where they hope to continue their winning run at the Euros. After the thrill of beating Germany 2-0 on Tuesday, Gareth Southgate and his men are focused on the next job, to win against Ukraine tomorrow and to progress to the semi-finals. Well, Joshua Stokes now on the excitement and expectation.
Limbering up for another sporting thriller. Southgate's England will be searching for more this weekend as they take on Ukraine in the Euros quarter-finals. Opponents that fan favourite Grealish say the team is ready for.
It's obviously going to be a tough game. You know, it's going to be difficult against a different opposition, a different location, different weather and stuff. But yeah, no, we just have to play to what we know, and we'll have been preparing all this week leading up to it. So fingers crossed we can go there and get the win.
With most fans advised not to travel, England's performance away will be tested. But with some lucky enough to live close to the ground, pride and passion aren't far away.
There's nothing more that I would love for it to come home. We want it to come home. We want to party. We want to celebrate. We want something to live for. And we're going to live for England this weekend.
From Italy to Hamburg, Joel is also one of the lucky golden ticket holders.
For me, it almost felt like a bit of an obligation to get there. On Tuesday, when the goal went in and I jumped up and seeing the scenes on TV and everyone going crazy at Wembley, and as soon as I read the article that the England fans wouldn't be able to get there, I was a little bummed out about that. And the guys did the job at Wembley on Tuesday night, and now it's our turn to get behind the team.
Warming up for the game in West Yorkshire, this Ukrainian club are preparing for a very different result.
Very confident. I believe we've got the spirit to do really well this year. I feel like with our players and Yarmolenko coming up strong, I think we've got a real chance of pulling through.
Slightly nervous, but this time we've got 90 minutes. I think it'll go to extra time, but I do think we'll get a goal in.
I think it'll be very, very exciting. I think my loyalty is to both teams, really. So whichever one wins, I'll win as well.
If England do secure a win, it'll be the furthest they've gone in the Euros in 25 years. And fans certainly believe that's possible.
I believe in you, lads. I believe in you, and I'm backing you all the way.
Joshua Stokes, ITV News.
Later on in the programme, we'll be hearing from the couple who looked after Raheem Sterling as a teenager when he was on his way to stardom. The Queen will meet Angela Merkel at Windsor Castle later during her final visit to the UK before she steps down as German Chancellor. But before that, Boris Johnson is holding talks with her at Chequers, and our political correspondent Carl Dinnan joins us from there now. Carl, what will be on the agenda then?
Well, I think top of the agenda seems to be giving Angela Merkel a good send-off on her last visit here as German Chancellor. There's that visit to see the Queen, of course, at Windsor. And she is also being invited to address the cabinet. She would be the first foreign leader to be given that honour since Bill Clinton in 1997. Now, there are issues of substance, of course. There are cultural exchanges, and then, of course, there's Brexit. The consequences of Brexit seems hard to escape that wherever and whenever you go, particularly the operation of the Northern Ireland Protocol and how goods move between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And of concern to many people also are travel restrictions. Now, Germany has some very tight travel restrictions imposed on British travellers, which they've been using to try and stop the Delta variant becoming prevalent in Germany. It is on the rise there, and there have been indications that Germany is going to relax those travel restrictions. And as Germany has been lobbying the rest of Europe to also impose strict restrictions on British travellers, it's hoped that if Germany can drop or at least ease some of those restrictions, then it will become easier for other nations in Europe to follow suit. So as well as the send-off that Boris Johnson is trying to give Angela Merkel, he's giving her a nice lunch of Oxfordshire beef soon this afternoon. He will also be hoping that she might have something to offer him and his government in terms of making it easier for British travellers to go on their summer holidays this year.
All right, Carl Dinnan, they will certainly have plenty to talk about. Thank you very much for the updates. Let's bring you some other news now. And a financial firm was asked to withdraw as co-conservator of Britney Spears' financial affairs. The Bessemer Trust are joint guardians of the singer's estate, along with her father, Jamie Spears. The trust says it doesn't want to be part of the arrangement after Britney described the conservatorship as abusive in court and asked for it to end. The judge has rejected her pleas. A shortage of lorry drivers is threatening supplies of Haribo sweets. The German confectionery company says it is struggling to get stocks to stores across the UK. The haulage industry has blamed the pandemic and Brexit for thousands of unfilled driver jobs. And a statue of Queen Victoria has been torn down by demonstrators in Canada during protests against the country's treatment of Indigenous people. Thousands of Indigenous children were abused at residential schools up until the 1970s. Next is Lunchtime. Britain has a new star at Wimbledon. Emma Raducanu only finished school 2 months ago. And then she was handed a wild card for Wimbledon, and now she is the only British female singles player left in the draw. Ranked 338 ahead of the tournament, she's now stealing the headlines, beating French Open finalist Marketa Vondrousova to reach the third round. And Martha Fairley takes up the story.
At 18 years old, Emma Raducanu is already tipped to be the next big thing in British tennis. Her shock win over 2019 French Open finalist Marketa Vondrousova at Wimbledon yesterday has propelled her into the spotlight as the only female Brit to make it through to the third round of the singles competition. And she's loving every moment.
I'm really just here enjoying myself and trying to stay here for as long as I can. So I think that's the motivation for me. And I just go out there and I feel like I've got nothing to lose. And the crowd has been so supportive. I just really want to do them proud and everyone who's been supporting me for all these years.
Born in Canada, Emma moved to the UK aged 2, encouraged to try every sport by her parents. And just 2 months ago, she was taking A-levels in maths and economics here at Newstead Wood School in Orpington. They've been proudly cheering her on from the classroom.
It's really great because we've got like a living Serena Williams, as someone like a role model just at your fingertips, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing that she can go to a Grand Slam tournament and like win loads of competitions and stuff. It's really inspirational because she comes from the same school as well, so yeah.
So she's always shown determination and effort throughout her time here at Newstead. It's equally matched by her time on the sports field, and we know that she's going to do just as well in her A-levels this summer as she is at Wimbledon.
Sir Andy Murray has tweeted his support, his brief message, "Let's go, Emma Raducanu." Tomorrow she takes on Romanian Sorana Cîrstea, but Raducanu admits if she was forced to choose, she'd pick a fourth-round draw over the 2A stars she's predicted to get in her exams. Well, before that, there are two big third-round matches for the British men on centre court today. Dan Evans takes on Seb Corder, and then straight after him, Sir Andy Murray is up against 10th seed Canadian Denis Shapovalov. Now, they will be playing in front of the Duchess of Cambridge this afternoon. She is going to take her place in the Royal Box, accompanied by some of the lockdown health heroes, Joe Wicks, Mr Motivator, and the skipping Sikh, Rajinder Singh. So let's hope that that famous centre court crowd can motivate Evans and Murray to victory and through to the fourth round.
Oh, yeah, let's hope so, Martha. At Wimbledon, thank you. On to another sporting superstar, Raheem Sterling. With 3 goals in 4 games, he has become England's hero of the Euros. And tomorrow, the hopes of a nation rest on his shoulders. And among those cheering him on from home will be some very special people who helped him on his road to stardom. Here's Sangeeta Kandola.
Raheem Sterling's opening goal in the clash with Germany at the Euros was a defining moment for the nation. But for one couple in Liverpool, it was extra special. Peter and Sandra Reeves played host family to the young player, who'd moved on his own from London as he was rising through the footballing ranks after being spotted by Liverpool FC at just 15.
Dead focused on football. That's all he seemed to think about.
Very proud indeed. But he's such a lovely lad, and he is very, very humble. He comes from a lovely family. They're a loving mother and family that have always behind him, you know.
Raheem was brought up by his mum just a stone's throw from the famous Wembley Archers and dreamed of playing on the pitch one day. It didn't take long. He was scouted by QPR at 11 before debuting for England's under-16s whilst being nurtured by Liverpool Football Academy.
Absolutely fantastic. He's worked very hard every day. I've been really impressed with his capacity.
Peter and Sandra looked after him for 3 years and say his talent stood out.
The club, right from where to go, knew. They came and said to us, would you have this young lad? And he's very special. And they got it right. He certainly is very special.
The Man City player has scored 3 out of the 4 crucial goals for England at the Euros so far, proving football fairy tales really do come true. Now all eyes will be on him tomorrow as they take on Ukraine in the quarter-finals. No pressure then. Sangeeta Kandola, ITV News.
And a reminder of our main stories this lunchtime. Labour have just about managed to hold on to the Batley and Spen seat, winning the by-election by the narrowest of margins. Kim Leadbeater, sister of murdered MP Jo Cox, beat her Tory rival by just 323 votes.
Jo would be extremely proud of me, and I'm really clear if I can be half the MP that she was, then that'll be pretty good going.
Was it very much a personal vote, do you think?
Certainly a lot of people have said that, you know, they've got belief in me, and that's wonderful. Creates quite a bit of pressure, but that is wonderful. But they know that I care. You know, I've worked here my whole life, the last few years in particular, at a community level, trying to help people, you know, particularly during the pandemic, during lockdown. So I think that track record has made people believe in me, which is wonderful, and I'm very honoured.
I think people are beginning to see that there is a gulf of difference between integrity, honesty and bringing people together and the politics of division, of hatred, dividing everybody, and mistruths and half-truths. And Kim epitomises that. That's why I say today is a really important start for us. Labour is back.
Two army veterans who were facing murder charges from the Northern Ireland Troubles, including on Bloody Sunday in 1972, will now not face trial. And as if you need a reminding, England squad will arrive in Rome later, where they hope to continue their winning run at the Euros after the thrill of beating Germany on Tuesday. Gareth Southgate and his men are focused on the next job to beat Ukraine tomorrow and make it to the semi-finals.
It's going to be difficult against a different opposition, a different location, different weather and stuff. But yeah, no, we just have to play to what we know, and we'll have been preparing all this week leading up to it. So fingers crossed we can go there and get the win.
And the news never stops. The Rundown is our daily digital news service for teenagers.
Hi, I'm Imani.
Hi there, I'm Rishi.
Hey, I'm Mojo, and this is The Rundown.
The Rundown is a social media news service from ITV News which covers stories that matter to young people. We bring you a quick update of what's happening and what you need to know.
We're going to be explaining what's going on and why you should care.
We release a new episode every afternoon. Find us on your mobile by searching for ITV News on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook or YouTube.
3, 2, 1, fire!
So if you're a teenager or have one in the family, check out The Rundown from ITV News.
OK, I'm back with an update at 4, just before the Switzerland-Spain match, which is right here on ITV. The news where you are follows the weather, but from everyone here, bye-bye.